So welcome to the Cape Computer Science Unit 1 specimen paper. This is the specimen paper that would be made active in 2022 onwards until the syllabus changes again. And the syllabus has changed up quite a bit in terms of the way that the questions are asked, and not really the way the questions are asked, but the amount of marks that the questions have. So I'm going to be working them out, and then when I'm finished working them out, we'll check the answers that the specimen paper has to see if there are any inconsistencies with my answers and their answers, to see what they're looking for, what they were looking for, and sometimes how answering the way that you think may not be the way that they're looking for. So check it out, and I hope that you learn something. So now let's go to the last module, which is the programming. Yeah, in my estimation, because of the 15-mark questions now, programming could either be really, really, really hard or really, really, really easy. If you get a really, really hard question, it will take you very long, or you probably won't be able to figure it out, and you just won't get 15 marks, or won't get so many marks, or it'll just be so easy, you'll just chew it up and get 15 marks one time. I don't know which one will happen. Okay, briefly outline two programming paradigms. So let's go with the two easiest ones. Procedural. Procedural is going to be step-by-step execution of commands that can be repeated on multiple systems. Example, bill calculations. And then let's go to object-oriented. Functional is an easy one to choose, but I'll just choose object-oriented because I want to, show some difficulty. Object-oriented would be use of classes and objects to store and manipulate data using the facilities of inheritance. When you're describing object-oriented, just throw inheritance in somewhere. Inheritance is like a super word. Like inheritance, you said. Worse yet if you say encapsulation, or say polymorphism. Yeah, if you throw that in, you should go there. And of course, I don't think that they will spend much time asking you to go in depth in any of these things because there's only so much marks to go around. Explain three differences between a compiler and an interpreter. Right, so this is like a deep question. The deep questions will be, they'll pick one topic and then they will just go deep in it. So have to explain the differences between a compiler and an interpreter. So let's see. Differences, first one will be speed. An interpreter can work faster because it shows errors line by line, which, however, a compiler shows all errors at the end. Speed. Wow. Let's go with convenience. Interpreters give near real-time feedback to the programmer, while a compiler gives it at the end and can have many errors. That's kind of weird. CPU resources, library resources. This question hard, boy. Wow. You really had to dig deep to explain three differences. What they really want by resources. A compiler uses more CPU resources while an interpreter does not. Yeah, does not is basically the example. I want to flip to the answer so bad, but let me see what else they have. A grocer needs to store some products. Each product has an ID, which is an integer, a quantity in stock, which is an integer, and a price, which is floating point. Write a declaration for a struct product rec that can store the record for each product. A grocer needs to store some products. Each product has an ID, quantity. Struct product rec. We have an int ID. Then you have quantity, int quantity. You could have put both of them in one line, but you know. Price. Oh, why am I writing the variables like that? Python calls that to the price. Ta-da. Yeah, struct product rec. I guess they probably just wanted to know int and float. Assume that the two product rec. This is directly from a paper from, I don't know, 2016, 2017. Assume that the two product rec. So the specimen paper is they just pull questions from different places. My heart is hurting. I don't know what to say. Thought there would be new questions. Assume that the two product rec items, item 3 and 4 already loaded with data. Write code to exchange the values in item 1 and item 3. Alright, so we have to say struct. We have to create a temp, right? Right, so once we create this temporary structure, the swapping is straightforward. You take the temp, say that equal to item 3. Then you go and say item 3 is equal to item 4. Then you go and say item 4 is equal to temp. That's swapping structures, because structures you can swap the whole thing. You don't have to swap them variable by variable. They will just swap on their own. Well, they could just interchange. I'm very interested to see the answer to the question. Yeah. All right. Explain for any two programming paradigms. They have imperative, which is variables are manipulated in storage using expressions. What? So do they not acknowledge procedural? Procedural or imperative? Okay. Object-oriented, modeling using cases, classes and objects. Sorry, we say classes and objects. Then functional logic is implemented by the use of functions. Imagine you have to explain functional programming and they say that the logic is implemented by the use of functions. I would get that wrong. Probably gonna say like modules or broken down into smaller parts. Something like that. But the imperative, procedural and imperative are synonymous, I think, in the syllabus, so they will accept the procedural. Let me see the differences. A compiler translates the entire program before execution, while an interpreter translates one line at a time. Right, we said that. A compiler creates a list of errors after compilation, while an interpreter stops after the first error. Well, thanks. Compiler produces an independent executable file, while an interpreter program needs an interpreter each time it is run. Ooh, that is a good one. I didn't think of that one. Yes. Yes. I should change that last answer. Resources is all a stretch answer. That good answer is that the compiler produces an executable file. That's good. That's good stuff. End product. A compiler produces an executable file, while an interpreted program needs to be interpreted each time. All right, cool. I accept that one. That is acceptable. All right, good. Now we check struct product rec, int ID, int quantity, and then double price. Why would they put double for price? Why didn't they just put float? Well, you could use float or double. Double is just like more decimal places than normal float. But if you have a normal float and there's a price that goes to 2 decimal places, there really shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, they should give that also. Right. The solution for the swap, they have struct product rec, but they have a space between product and rec. Please don't put a space. Product rec. The name of the structure has to be one word for it to work or compile properly. So struct product rec temp. And then we have temp is equal to item 3, item 3 is equal to item 4, temp item 4 is equal to temp. Yeah, pretty much. That's all there. Let's go again. Hey, what is your problem? Alright, number 6. Why is it recommended that comments be used in programming code? It makes it easier for people who are reading the code to understand what is taking place at particular sections. Yeah. That's all in the comments form. Oh, what did they do? They gave a 2-mark question and then they hit with a 13-mark question. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yeah. So in the previous syllabus, they used to you give you these long 15-mark questions and whatnot, but they can't give you a 15-mark question now because you only have 25 marks. I mean, you only have 15 marks to work with. Before it used to be 50. So, one 15-mark program to write. Is it a function? Nope, it's just C code. But they could test functions, they could test structures, and they could test functions and structures inside this part. So if they just ask you to write a normal program, be thankful. An integer array P contains m positive integers, and an integer array Q contains n positive integers. Write a fragment of C code to merge the positive integers in array P with those in array Q to create a new array R, with the order of the elements P and Q being reversed in the new array. What? I see. This is challenging. This is challenging. Okay. So we have an array that has P, that has m positive integers. And that's n positive integers. Write a fragment of C code to merge the positive integers in array P with those in array Q to create a new array R, with the order of the elements of P and Q being reversed in the new array. Show all relevant decorations and assume that P and Q are already loaded with the integers. Okay. Let's come up with a solution for this. If we were in an exam, we'd probably have an hour still. Yeah, it's 2.5 hours. So you probably have an hour still. So we could sit down and take our time to work this out. You don't really have to fight it. Just come up with good logic, because you don't want to lose that 1 mark. That 1 mark that will separate you from the other people in the Caribbean. You really don't want to lose that 1 mark. Now 1 mark is yours. Okay. Integer P. If I have one array like this with some numbers and another one next array with some numbers here, I want to merge the 2 of them into one that's like this, but I need to take from here and then here because I have to go in opposite direction. The order of the elements must be reversed in the new array. Okay. Alright, assume that P and Q are already loaded with integers. Write the fragments is equal to merge the positive P with those in Q to a new array with the order of the elements of P and Q in reverse in a new array. They just have to go one after the other, so it's 2 for loops, I guess. That going down, they say merge it, but they just has to be like one after the other. Yeah, okay. We'll set our counter is equal to 0. So basically I'm just taking the array as P and throwing all the numbers that are inside of it inside the loop in reverse order until I fill up to that point, and then I'm going to take whatever is inside Q and then fill it up to whatever point. Doesn't matter. So int C is equal to 0 for C is equal to M. C less than C greater than or equal to 0, C minus minus. So that means you're gonna start at M and work your way backwards. That's for the P array. And then you want to say Q, no, not Q. R is where in the array. R location. We want to fill R up from the start. If you want to fill R up from the start, that means you have a next counter. I is equal to 0. Yeah. Location Ri is equal to P location C. That's all? Yep, it's just a for loop that's going backwards. That for loop will run its way out and take everything that's inside P and store it inside Q in reverse, R in reverse order. So then we do our next for loop for set back C to 0. C is equal to N, C greater than or equal to 0, C minus minus. We're going with the same R. We're keeping the same I because the incrementer for I, no, I have to do I plus plus before we go forward. Yeah, we have to do I plus plus because then the index wouldn't know what to do. The index will stay the same. It'll stay at location 0 the whole time. So that means I'll put curly brackets here and say I plus plus. That way the index will go up. So in this case now we're going to say for curly brackets R I is equal to Q location C I plus plus. As well. Yeah, we're going to reverse order because it's counting down from the value of N that they gave us. Show relevant decorations. Okay. Let's see what they give us by way of the solution. And their solution is, sorry, let's go to the first one. Why is it recommended that comments be used in programs? It's recommended that comments be used because comments explain important steps in a program that users can easily understand the code. It's easier for people who are reading the code to understand what is taking place at a particular sector. So I could be taking that. What did they do? They have declarations int I is equal to m minus 1, int j is equal to n minus 1. Okay, add elements of p to the merge array R for a loop can be used while I is greater than or equal to 0. Rk is equal to pi. Where did they get k from? K is equal to 0. Right, they did the same thing. Yeah, so it's two loops here. We just did it with for loops. They did it with while loops because they are while j is greater than or equal to 0. But it's the same thing. Yeah. I minus minus, j minus minus. We just use C to do it. Yeah, they did, and they did say a for loop can also be used. Alright, it wasn't that bad. That was, the question looked a lot harder than it did, but yeah, it was pretty straightforward to do. Alright, any questions? So if this specimen paper were to come for your real exam on the whatever day. Right, so of course, thanks for watching. You made it to the end. If you're looking for CAPE IT classes that you want me to teach, you could check us out at education.makeITsimpleTT.com and you will see all the different packages that we have for CAPE IT classes. And of course, you could always come back to this YouTube channel and there'll always be free videos here to explain different things to you. But if you want dedicated classes that will explain certain things to you and make sure you understand the syllabus inside out, then check us out, education.makeITsimpleTT.com. You'll see CAPE IT, and we have a various set of classes from crash courses all the way down to full-on classes with assignments and IA assistance and paper 3 assistance. So you can check that out, makeITsimpleTT.com.